Good morning, dear guests, dear members. On behalf of the American Chamber of Commerce, I would like to welcome you to our already second annual online General Assembly of the American Chamber of Commerce in the Slovak Republic. Now allow me to introduce Gabriel Galgoci, President of AmCham, Slovakia Country General Manager and Director of AT&T, who will lead us through the program.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to our annual General Assembly. Our program includes an overview of AmCham activities and major achievements in the past year, report of the Board of Directors, financial report, announcement of the AmCham most supportive member companies, a brief look back, and very importantly, the announcement of the results of this year's election to the Board of Directors. One of the AmCham's pillars is policy and advocacy. Active cooperation with state and public representatives is very important for you, our members. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and privilege to present a message prepared by His Excellency Eduard Heger, the Prime Minister of the Slovakia, for the AmCham General Assembly.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation to speak at your General Assembly. Please allow me to express that the Slovak government values the work of American Chamber of Commerce and is looking forward to a constructive dialogue to unleash our innovation potential. We have an eminent interest in fair and competitive business environment, and we all know it requires several important things. First of all, it is the good law enforcement. Second, transparent regulation framework. Thirdly, understandable and motivational tax system. And last but not least, only the necessary degree of bureaucratic burden. We are working on all of these areas, and I'm glad that we are achieving some good results. I'm pleased that according to the current data, the improving pandemic situation leads to the higher optimism of businessmen and consumers. Slovakia is structurally ready and open for the post-pandemic chapter, for the growth of foreign demand for Slovak production and services. We have prepared recovery and resilience plan, which will be a significant investment and systematic incentive for the whole business environment. I wish that the chambers of commerce, including yours, would help Slovakia and also via important employers and companies like, for example, US Steel, to move Slovakia forward, to foster our economic development and innovation, and to create favorable atmosphere for reforms that Slovakian economy and society need so much. I'm counting on you, and I very much look forward to the cooperation. I wish you all the best.
Now I have the pleasure to present to you the video message made by Her Excellency Bridget and Brink, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United States of America to the Slovak Republic. While AmCham and the US Embassy are independent organizations, we are indeed very grateful for the cooperation we have in various fields.
Dobrý den, dámy a páni. Som rada, že som tu dnes s vami, aj keď iba virtuálne. Good morning. I would like to welcome our audience from across Slovakia and thank Gabrielle, Ronald, and the team at AmCham for inviting me here to give these remarks. I am delighted to open this year's General Assembly. I'm very hopeful that I will see all of you soon once the pandemic lets up and we can get back to business. And that is what I would like to talk to you about today, getting back to business. This coming year will be a particularly important year for the business community in Slovakia, as we start to see light at the end of the COVID pandemic. As infection rates drop, governments worldwide will shift priorities from restricting the spread of the virus to restarting the economy and ensuring that businesses have everything they need to succeed. Many governments, like the United States, aim to build back better to ensure that we're making the investments we need to develop the economy of the future. In my conversations with the business community, I consistently hear about 3 issues that Slovakia needs to address in order to be globally competitive. First, Slovakia needs to build a world-class education system. Second, Slovakia needs to support higher value-added investment and homegrown innovation. Last, Slovakia needs to invest in quality of life so it can attract world-class talent. In AmCham Slovakia 2030 vision document released last fall, the Chamber called for Slovakia to be one of the top 20 countries in the world on all 3 metrics. AmCham has been a driving force to push these issues to the top of the government's agenda, whether it be through direct government advocacy, community outreach, or support for specific institutions like Slovakia, AI, or the newly opened Košice International School. AmCham and AmCham companies are helping to build a more prosperous and globally competitive Slovakia. This year, as we all get back to business, there will be a chance to get this right. The United States Embassy wants to help Slovakia achieve these goals. A Slovakia that sees the benefit of being part of the global economy is a Slovakia that is less vulnerable to disinformation and malign influence, that is a strong, vibrant, and inclusive in every corner of its regions. And it is a Slovakia where business can thrive. We are committed to developing partnerships between the United States and Slovak companies, institutions, and people, so that the United States and Slovakia can thrive together. We could not do this without the support of AmCham and all of its member companies. I want to start by talking about education. In my conversations with business leaders around Slovakia, a recurring theme I see is a desire for reform and investment in the education system to ensure that Slovakia is producing the next generation of business leaders and innovators. AmCham has played an important role pushing this issue to the top of the government's agenda, with the work of the Business Academic Cooperation Committee and initiatives like Train the Trainer and Skills for Success. AmCham also provided strong support for the first international school in Košice, which opened last fall. I had the wonderful opportunity to visit the school shortly after it opened. I was impressed by the director's enthusiasm and saw how necessary having such a resource was in the city of Košice. The embassy has also looked for ways to support the drive for education reform, often together with AmCham members. In the past year, we have worked with the Slovak government to set up an MIT seed fund, which will fund Slovak researchers who want to collaborate with their colleagues at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the top research institutions in the whole world. We have brought virtual guest lecturers to universities across Slovakia. Through our grants program, we have funded projects focused on promoting education and entrepreneurship, including a project done in partnership with AmCham member Junior Achievement Slovakia. And we have helped arrange meetings between stakeholders to push this issue to the top of the agenda. We look forward to working with everyone here to expand on these activities in the next year. The second issue is improving the business climate so Slovakia can attract more investment and develop homegrown, innovative firms. In the last year, U.S. firms have clearly demonstrated their desire to partner with and invest in innovative Slovak companies. In December, Cisco announced its plans to purchase Slido, a Slovak company that has become indispensable to our work at the embassy, and I'm certain is just as important to many of the companies in the audience today. In January, Bloomreach bought Slovak sales analytics company Exponia. In March, Epic Games purchased the Slovak company Capturing Reality, a company that previously received an embassy grant to record 3D models of Slovak heritage sites. With active investment in further developing the Slovak startup ecosystem, we are certain more deals like these will follow. In this last year, the United States Embassy sponsored AmCham's East Innovation Conference, which is drawing attention to the growing cluster of innovative companies in Eastern Slovakia and calling on greater government and corporate investment to help this cluster grow. We have also appreciated our cooperation with AmCham's Digital Committee to ensure that the EU's digital single market policies help and don't hinder U.S. and Slovak companies working in the digital realm. The U.S. Embassy has supported the work of AmCham members, like Civita, who are working to identify Slovakia's next generation of innovators. With the pandemic hopefully increasingly coming under control, we are looking to expand our outreach on this issue through exchanges, meetups, and other events to help entrepreneurs and innovators make the connections they need to succeed. We hope to work with AmCham and AmCham companies to develop these connections outside of Bratislava and ensure that Slovaks everywhere can participate and feel included in the modern innovation economy. Finally, there is the question of making Slovakia an attractive place for talented people to live. It is no secret that many of the best educated Slovaks go abroad to work. According to the OECD, 8% of Slovak university students study in foreign countries, and many of them stay abroad when they enter the workforce. A 2018 study by the AmCham member Leaf found that Slovaks abroad are hesitant to come back due to the perception of corruption, weak schools, and a poor healthcare system. Here again, we have been happy to cooperate with AmCham, whether it's working with the Rule of Law Initiative to keep the fight against corruption at the top of the government's agenda, or working with AmCham member companies to advocate for data-driven, patient-centric healthcare with access to the best modern medicine. So, I want to thank AmCham and all of your member companies for the years of great work that have brought Slovakia to where it is today. Your work not only helps the country develop, but it also shows the concrete value of the transatlantic bond and shared values like education, innovation, and anti-corruption. We look forward to working more with you in the future. Ďakujem veľmi pekne.
Dear friends, let me welcome our next special guest, His Excellency Radovan Javorčík, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Slovak Republic to the United States of America, with his unique message to AmCham and its members.
Dear Ambassador Brink, dear members of Slovak AmCham, dear Mr. President Galoci, dear friends and companions in the most positive crime on earth, the most positive crime of having good business, good relations, and friendly relationships between the people. I'm honored to address you in my first year as the Slovak ambassador to the United States of America. Some say that the past year was a lost year. Indeed, we lost a lot of social contacts and we miss physical contacts. At the same time, it seems that we can see an end to this period of strange relationships, which are through the artificial intelligence, through IT networks. Yesterday, I read news that the American economy grew by unprecedented 1.6%. Maybe not unprecedented 1.6% in last quarter, but a little bit unexpected because all the predictions were a little bit more bleak. Economy has picked up, a new American administration stimuli are rolling in. Let me make three groups or rounds of statements or thoughts. On the Slovak side, the name of the game today is, of course, Recovery and Resilience Plan. My government passed to Brussels a document which will guide us through next 5 to 7 years, recovery and resilience of our economy. The focus, as you know, are in the 5 main priorities: better education, science, research and innovation, healthcare, effective governance, and most importantly, green economy. There are good reasons that the plan is called Reform, Resilience and Recovery. The plan is a result of calls that urge the government to focus not just on reviving the economy, but transforming it in a green and sustainable way. I know that AmCham was involved in the public comments process, and I thank you for your efforts. As our Minister of Environment, Jan Budaj, who is an iconic person from 1989, from the Velvet Revolution, he said that the economic growth cannot be at the expense of the environment. After the coronavirus crisis is over, we will ask ourselves, what lessons have we learned? May I paraphrase President Biden? He repeatedly, and he stated it in his State of Union speech, he said that the greener economy can and will mean more jobs for the workers, for our people. US and Europe can and must be leaders in this green economy revolution, or I would say rather evolution. We need set standards, but not only technical and technological, but also ethical, and those which will guide us through the next period of economic revolution. There is also a specific component in the plan under caption Attraction Talents and Limiting Brain Drain, Promoting Exchange. The role of our embassies will be crucial in this context. It focuses on the Slovaks living abroad and foreigners with ties to Slovakia, and its real transatlantic bond. We want also to work more closely with the new diaspora, which includes the Slovak Global Network, which is not only focused on the United States, but putting together all the Slovak bubbles around the world. And it will help all the multinational, supranational, national, and regional companies as well to understand what's going on in the world, how we can connect together, and what are the economic trends in the world. My second set of remarks will be on innovation, because this is a word which rules the world in these days as well. We, the diplomats, we had to stop for a moment and pause our contact sport, which is getting a real touch with our partners. We had to move to virtual space, and this call is also a result of that. This situation was dubbed or marked as a disruption. There may be positive or negative disruption. I have to say that the negative disruptions were seen at the beginning. The personal consultations and conversations with startups had to be moved also from physical contacts to virtual. And many startups which were heading to the United States had to go back to Slovakia or stay in Slovakia. But our embassy and both embassies were really targeting the opportunities, how to put the startups together, how to create opportunities for them to re-engage with their partners across the pond. Last year, we prepared and financed through our project schemes a virtual 2-day program with New York-based accelerator Venture Out. 10 Slovak startups had their opportunities to participate, and we plan with similar coaching to continue with similar coaching programs for our innovative companies. We believe that sharing experience and knowledge is the biggest help our embassies can offer. One of the projects that I'm especially proud is establishment of a Slovak MIT seed fund, or Slovakia MIT seed fund. The Ministry of Investment, Regional Development and Informatization of the Slovak Republic, familiarly and colloquially known as MIRI, has entered into agreement with MIT in Boston to fund joint projects and research collaboration. Each year, the research teams will be awarded grants up to $30,000 per project. In the coming 3 years, 2 to 4 research projects will be supported each year. When talking about support of innovative companies and their activities abroad, I would like to highlight one thing, which is that economic diplomacy starts at home. Stronger innovation potential of my country, Slovakia, will make our jobs much easier, and more aspiring unicorns and success stories as Slido, for example, can be expected. My last but not least part of my address, my last and not least basket of thoughts are more about structural questions, structural topics. Slovakia was called over the many years different names. We had several bumper stickers. One was the black hole of Europe. Then we became Tiger of Europe, then Detroit of Europe. And now we have a nice label, a bumper sticker, good idea, Slovakia. But we all know that the backbone of Slovak economy is automotive industry. I am proud of it. I am a petrol head. I love roar of V8 engine. The automotive sector amounts up to 50% of industrial production of Slovakia, 13% of GDP, and creates almost 300,000 jobs. In Slovakia, 15 models of electric cars, but by 7 different car brands are being produced, or there is a potential for such a diversity. Slovakia is the 3rd largest producer of electric cars in Europe. And this is very significant because one of the main car producers comes from France, where share of the electric cars dropped, and it was the only European country where it dropped. But still, the French producers are producing or will produce electric cars. Given the strategic importance of the automotive industry in Slovakia, we must pay greater attention to technological and industrial trends, such as electromobility or hydrogen technology. We need to focus on reliability and security of the transportation networks and the networks of the future, including hydrogen cells, which is obvious, battery components, another obvious target, but also delivery of the low energy microchips or semiconductors. This is the future. This is not the past. The information and communication technology sector accounts up to 4.2% in Slovak GDP. Thanks to a highly skilled workforce, still has double-digit growth potential. Not just well-known companies as ESET, Soitron, NG Aviation, Innovatrix, Photoneo, Sigic, or Slido, but also revolutionary solutions such as Tachyon processors are born in Slovakia. A long-term challenge in the field of science, research, and innovation in Slovakia is lack of funding and a low ratio of private sector investment. On the contrary, in OECD countries, the private sector has the highest share of research and development investments. I believe that fixing this inequality will open floodgates of new partnerships in and with Slovakia. Dear members of Slovak AmCham, I was asked several times in the past few days, what are AmChams doing for rebuilding economic and social and personal relationships across the pond, across the Atlantic? My response was very simple. You do a terrific job. You don't have to lobby at the highest possible political echelons. The most important thing is to be present, to be felt, to lead by example. And this is exactly what President Biden said several times. America is back. America is back in engaging and leading with bright ideas. In Slovakia, we have bright ideas, Slido, ESET, Tachyon, many, many others. So I wish you all the best to find these connections and be engaged with Slovakia and the United States. Thank you very much and have a nice year.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear AmCham members and friends, it's an honor for me as the President of the American Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to evaluate the year 2020. AmCham proudly represents 286 American, Slovak and international companies from 25 countries around the world that employ more than 110,000 people in Slovakia and represents about 20% of the Slovakia's GDP. We are pleased that the strength of AmCham continues to grow, a fact repeatedly acknowledged by the government and public officials. On behalf of the American Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, I am pleased to inform you about some of our major achievements and efforts in 2020. AmCham activities are strongly focused on policy and advocacy. AmCham continues to be a valuable representative of the business community to many public institutions. Besides being critical when needed, AmCham backs it with action, recommendation for improvement. In 2020, AmCham, on behalf of its members, united in 11 policy platforms and submitted 78 legislative comments. It also, throughout the year, offered regular and targeted access to public stakeholders, thanks to working meetings with more than 160 relevant national and local government officials, members of parliaments, and EU and foreign officials. In order to ensure better synergies for our advocacy efforts, we continue to focus our policy activities designed to help improve Slovakia's competitiveness into 4 major pillars, reflecting the overlap between the interests of our members and needs of our country: the rule of law, human capital, innovation, and regional development. Throughout 2020, we are actively working on specific issues within these pillars, which brought results and improvements for our members and the entire business community. A few AmCham highlights from 2020. We brought together a group of experts across all business sectors, academia, as well as national and public agencies, to help formulate recommendations for the Slovak government related to resilience and recovery plan. Vision of Slovakia 2030 outlined the key factors of accelerated economic growth. Representative of this initiative met with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Eduard Heger, President of the Slovak Republic Administration, as well as with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Investment, Regional Development and Informatization, Veronika Remišová, where we presented this recommendation. AmCham, together with several institutions, Employers Association and Chamber of Commerce, prepared Tax Manifesto 2020, which outlined areas most important to advance Slovakia's tax system, improve business environment, and help Slovakia attract local as well as foreign investments. In cooperation with our members in Eastern Slovakia, AmCham has been actively involved in establishment of the Košice International School, which should bring not only potential to enhance education opportunities across the region, but we believe help entire region attract future investors who will bring job opportunities and technological innovation to the region. We established cooperation with Prešov City and regional government by organizing town hall meeting, where all key players from business, academic institution, as well as local and regional government exchange ideas and thoughts how to turn it into magnetic city together with Košice. AmCham brought together relevant stakeholders in healthcare and prepared a set of recommendations Healthy Future for systematic improvement in the healthcare sector. We are especially proud of the interest our human capital projects attract across Slovakia, such as the Train-the-Trainer program that equipped 144 high school and university teachers from across Slovakia with modern teaching methods and competencies. Or an accredited flagship course, Skills for Success, from university to workplace, which was successfully completed by 123 students at 4 universities. AmCham Unique HR University course provided direct opportunities for 20 students. This is a very brief summary of our most important advocacy achievement throughout 2020. We want to continue playing an important role in improving Slovakia's competitiveness and making our country a great place to live and do business in. Our efforts would not be possible without the active engagement of many of you, leaders of our policy platforms and committees. Big thank you to all of you. We would like to invite the rest of you to join our advocacy activities and help us be even more successful as we continue to serve on your behalf and as one of the main voice of the business community. Throughout 2020, AmCham has been able to organize 5 physical events, 43 virtual events, which includes both social and content-related events, ranging from conferences, committee meetings to workshops. We are happy that we were able also organize a Women in Business event, which was a great success in terms of speakers, attendance and media attention. We strive to have our voice heard by relevant public officials as well as our members and other relevant stakeholders. During 2020, AmCham actively engaged with relevant media and registered 330 appearances on TV, radio and print and web media through press releases and expert commentaries. In addition, more than 30 exclusive TV and radio interviews were conducted by the end of 2020. We had more than 6,000 followers on social media platforms. Dear ladies and gentlemen, this was just a brief overview of AmCham activities for 2020 and the Board of Directors report. Thank you very much for your continuous support, help, and for your trust in our activities.
And now, after long reporting, let us enjoy an AmCham staff video message. AmCham is a service-oriented organization. Throughout the past year, AmCham Slovakia was showing that it is dedicated to serving its members and constantly improving the business environment by focusing on its main policy advocacy pillars. Let's see what, how, and why we do it.
For me, AmCham is a platform uniting businesses that care. Our members care for a healthy, educated, and innovative Slovakia with strong democratic institutions. Respect for the rule of law is an essential condition for a healthy democracy and very much so for a stable and fair business environment. The pandemic has taught us how quickly can unpredictability take over, how easily can fundamental rights be limited, and that we cannot take rule of law principles for granted. To recover from the pandemic and help the country grow, we need to care. And I have joined AmCham because I care.
Working while studying isn't always easy, especially when I had to learn how to do both of those things online. That's why I decided to work through these initial difficulties with humor and ease. Normally, I would be doing comedy theater in my spare time, so that's why I try to bring laughter to my colleagues every day. I think the work we do at AmCham is impactful and necessary, and I can't wait to find new ways to help our members this year.
2020. Well, everything will be okay in the end.
If it's not okay, it's not the end.
We would like to thank you for reading AmCham's Connection magazine even in tough times.
At least the joke section at the end.
We will continue to do our best to bring you quality content in an appealing format.
Until the end.
We are AmCham Slovakia.
Because we are not done yet.
The year 2020 was for AmCham, for Slovakia, and for me personally, full of disruptive changes. We learned how interconnected we are. We learned that science and technology can not only help us, but also save us. And we learned that safety and health are the most precious attributes that we need to cherish and protect. That's why I love working for AmCham, because throughout these years, we tackle all these important issues and we try to anticipate changes. We will continue doing this for our members and for our country to prosper in the challenging times ahead of us.
The year 2020 was truly challenging. No one was ready for such a scenario. I moved to a new, more spacious apartment, out of the hustle and bustle of the big city, so working from home was much more bearable, especially with our doggo and my boys, who are studying from home as well. You, our member companies, has shown a tremendous courage in helping to outfight the COVID-19. We are grateful for your leadership. In addition, we welcome 24 new companies to our AmCham family. I am in AmCham because I believe that supporting our members and helping them to grow plays a crucial role in keeping Slovakia's economy running despite all the difficulties.
Old wisdom says, in every crisis there is also an opportunity. For me, this has meant going more digital than ever over the last 13 months in almost all aspects of my life. One of the ways how we actively build bridges between the world of academia and corporates is to loop in students and teachers directly into corporate trainings to ensure better employability of our graduates. I'm AmCham because here I feel actually my work makes sense.
2020 was an important year of political changes for Slovakia. In AmCham, our goal was two things: to make sure that we establish effective working relationship with the new government, which we managed to do, and also to make sure that our priorities and priorities of the wider business community are one of the first ones to land on the table of the new government. And we're proud that the tax manifesto made significant media exposure, as well as became part of the currently preparing tax reform that will be unveiled soon. Moreover, 2020 was an important year in my family life as well, because after 6.5 years in my career in AmCham, I decided to take a break and spend precious 6 months of paternity leave with my family.
For me personally, year 2020 was a tough one, both personally and professionally. I was relatively new in AmCham, only been there for 3 months when Corona crisis hit Slovakia. Everything that I learned to that moment had to be reinvented. As we went digital from one day to another, we have started to build our new virtual events portfolio. It was a challenging but very exciting ride, full of lessons learned, and I'm very proud of the positive results we've achieved and your continual interest to do events with us. Thank you.
Slovakia, place worth living, working, and doing business in. The three main reasons why AmCham is the first to choose platform for business community, but also a relevant partner to the Slovak government. Moreover, for me personally, it's a great reason to make my stay in AmCham already a long story. Being on maternity leave with 2 little kids during the pandemic, which makes it even crazier, I'm really thankful that my job makes an impact on the whole society.
The last year was a turning point in terms of accepting telework as a fully fledged way of working. Demand for digital transformation, new ways of thinking, and the use of new innovative tools have been very high, and in AmCham we try to be as tech-savvy as possible. For me personally, it was a very dynamic year because I learned to use new tools and strengthen creativity and communication on social media. We reached more than 330 media appearances. I am in AmCham because I can communicate the relevant topics and be part of interesting initiatives.
Dear members, the year 2020 is already far behind us, but its unprecedented developments are here to stay with us for the years to come. Key words from 2020: pandemic, lockdown, data, experts, vaccination bear witness to its developments. What do I take away from all this? Firstly, remote work is a fantastic tool, but it cannot substitute for actual human contact. Aristotle was right. We are social animals. Secondly, we need more experts to solve the problems of our times. Without them, we govern by gut and celebrate ignorance. And finally, even the biggest challenges can be solved by human ingenuity and cooperation. The last year, AmCham proved once again that we are a fantastic platform for networking, intelligence, and advocacy. Please stay with us so that we can work together. Thank you.
Financial stability is a crucial point for any company or business. Dear members of AmCham Slovakia, thank you very much for your ongoing support, especially during the pandemic. Working with people has always been challenging, but I try to keep healthy and friendly atmosphere in our AmCham team. But my personal challenge was for the last year to explore more Slovak mountains. Koniec.
2020 was a challenging year, but there is still a lot to be grateful for. I appreciate the time that I was able to spend with my family throughout my paternity leave, and I'm proud of the milestones that the Košice office has achieved. We helped form the International School of Košice, greatly supporting the competitiveness of the region. And we also formed a new cross-sector collaboration initiative, the town hall meetings, where we aim to help private sector become an active part of sub-national policy decision-making. I am AmCham because at AmCham I can help form the region of Eastern Slovakia.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time we announce AmCham most supportive members for 2020. Number 10, Diogen. Number 9, Pfizer. The shared 7th place, Adient and Dell. Number 6, Roche. Number 5, Swiss Re. Number 4, Medtronic. And top 3 are number 3, Johnson & Johnson. Number 2, Google. And finally, number 1, Novartis. Thank you all for your precious support. As you sure all know, this year you've been electing 8 members of our board whose terms will last, as usual, 2 calendar years. And this year, winners of the board elections are Gabriel Galgoci, AT&T. Norbert Hovančák, Slovenská sporiteľňa. Peter Kolesár, Civita, Slovakia. Violeta Luka, Microsoft. Martin Magal, Allen & Overy. Anna Michalková, CSAME. Igor Todt, O2 Slovakia. Andrea Strulc, Deutsche Telekom IT Solutions Slovakia. Congratulations to the new elected board members. I am genuinely looking forward to cooperating with you. Thank you all for being with us so far. I hope you have found our program interesting and of course that you are happy with the election results. Now we would like to open the floor to your questions.